So I wanted to create this video because there were no tutorials online that showed you how to fix a Barista Express that was repeatedly blowing out seals or group head gaskets or group head rings. No matter how many times you replace the ring, within a day or two, it would blow out. All the advice online was, replace the ring. But, even taking caution and making sure that it's installed correctly, no matter what you did, it would still blow the ring. So it turns out it's the Portafilter collar, which is the plastic collar that holds the Portafilter tight against the group head ring, and the screws holding it in come loose. So it appears that from the manufacturer, maybe they didn't put thread locker on the screws. So anyways, they come loose due to the vibration, and then the Portafilter, even though it seems maybe that it's tight enough, it's actually under pressure it will flex and not create a good seal against the ring, and then causing the ring to blow out. So there's a video online that I will include a link in the description to, that shows you how to get to this stage that we're looking at now. So this is with the back cover completely removed, and here we go. So one of the first things that you're going to want to do is remove the two screws at the top there that hold the front panel on. The front panel will have two clips at the bottom of it that they just go vertically, so you just pull straight up on the panel after you get those two screws off, and that should all come out. And you won't be able to move it too far away, but it'll move at least out of the way, so it'll give you a bit more access, because you'll want to remove the knob and basically the selector for the steam wand and the hot water, as well as the hot water dispenser tube, because those need to be lifted up and out of the way, just so that you can remove this the main group head and this huge panel here, with all of these tubes and wiring attached to it. So yeah, the screws holding on the knob there are there's three. There's two at the front and one at the back. And once you take those out, then it'll be free, but you still won't be able to move it up vertically, which is what you want to do. So you actually have to remove the knob itself. There's a little tab in there, and if you use a flathead screwdriver, you can push that tab in, and it will help you remove the knob. And I had it, at the, I believe it's the hot water selection, just so it's at an angle a bit. It just gives you a bit easier access. But once you've got that knob taken out, then you basically want to work at removing this panel. So there's two screws at the top, back in there, and on the other side there. And then there'll be a screw there, another screw on the other side there, and then a screw down at the bottom in the back right there, and another one in behind that round plastic piece. And also this screwdriver here is very handy to have, just like a longer Phillips screwdriver, like a 10-inch with a magnetic tip, very helpful. And then remove the heatsink screws out of there to pull the heatsink away. But your whole goal is to remove that whole panel there. And I removed that, basically, I think that's the thermal coil. I removed the whole thermal coil. There's only held on by two screws and a couple tubes, but it turns out it doesn't look like you need to remove that. The only real tube that you should have to remove is this one tube up at the front. It's for the pressure gauge, and back in here there's just a little cotter pin holding that in. So you take the cotter pin out, and then the tube comes out really easily with a brass kind of fitting on the end, and there will be a little rubber gasket or rubber O-ring in there. Just make sure it's still in the hole or on the end of the tube, because you don't want to lose that. This whole panel will be able to lift up and out of the way, because it will not, you can't pull it straight back because of the portafilter collar there. So here's a shot of the screws here after the chaos of disassembling everything, and you can see that it's loose. There's actually 2 screws that are loose, and the washers are kind of free floating, but essentially the portafilter collar will flex at that point. It's got room to give under pressure, and so it just can't hold a tight seal against the group head ring. And just inspect your portafilter collar just to make sure it's not cracked, because I could see that happening if it flexed too much. And then some of the screws are actually quite tight to get out. So just make sure you don't strip those screws. And then be sure to put on some red thread locker, just so that way they don't come loose in the future. All right, so now for the true test, the cleaning test, because it builds max pressure. Also, one thing I've noticed is that now tightening in the portafilter is way tighter, and there used to be a bit of a sloppy or like a clicking noise when I tightened it, so that must have been the screws being loose. So anyways, we're gonna run the cleaning cycle. I'd say that's success. It used to blow almost instantly as soon as it built that much pressure. And this is locked straight out. I could crank it even further to the right if I wanted to, but it feels pretty tight. So anyways, looks like a good fix.